Tropical storm Isaias just hours away from being at its closest point to the Carolina beaches, and we're already seeing that rain start, some wind and dark skies. We are taking live looks from the Isle of Palms, Myrtle Beach, and the News 2 roof there. You can see the gray skies and some of that wind pushing right in that center camera. Charleston city leaders are giving updates they did just hours ago on how they're preparing for this storm, saying we cannot take it for granted. And right now we are bringing team coverage on tracking Tropical Storm Isaias. We will have live reports from News 2's Katie Augustine in just a moment. But first, team coverage from Storm Team 2's Megan James and Rob Fowler. Rob, what's the very latest on this storm's track?
Well, Sophia, we know the center of the storm is Charleston, and a lot of the rain that we're getting today and have really received most of the morning associated with Isaias, the kind of the outer rain bands, if you will. This is the enhanced infrared picture, and we love to show you this because this really gives us an idea where the highest winds and the heaviest rain is. Generally, when you see the darker colors like the purple, and that's all kind of rotating onshore from Charleston up into the Myrtle Beach area as we speak. As far as the track of the storm, a couple of things happened. Number one, it sped up earlier today, now moving 13 miles an hour, and now the storm is moving just slightly east of due north. It's 5 degrees with 360 degrees being due north, and that is very important for us because it is kind of making that bend we expected. Almost eventually will parallel the coast and then get to this point, and there's the potential now we could see a South Carolina landfall where the center crosses over land. It is moving officially north at 13 miles an hour. The winds are 70. There's also a possibility it could bump up to briefly a hurricane, a Category 1 hurricane, before it makes landfall. And by the way, the last August landfalling hurricane here in the state of South Carolina, you have to go back to 2004. You guys remember Hurricane Gaston? That was it. Here is the projected track now from the National Hurricane Center. I'm going to zoom in on this track because you kind of see we're still generally in the cone of uncertainty from Charleston into the upper portions of Charleston County into Georgetown and Horry County. But this would be the point roughly Monday evening where it could become a hurricane and then make a landfall either in northeastern South Carolina or southeastern North Carolina. But what we're watching now, these rain bands, they continue to rotate around the center of circulation. Now, the reason it really hasn't become a hurricane yet is earlier in the day, hurricane hunters were trying to find that closed eye, and you can try to see it's trying to do that right now as it's over the warmer waters of the Gulf Stream, and the center is basically 75 miles to the south-southeast of Charleston. So what we're seeing now, see these rain bands in the darker colors like the orange and the yellow, and you look at our scale, and that's where it goes heavy. These are coming in with torrential rains, some lightning, but also gusty winds. We estimate some of the winds in here could be 50 to 55 miles an hour. So we've got one moving from Bulls Bay to Charleston right now. There's another one right there that will rotate onshore. This is the one here in the next 1 to 2 hours that could be the worst of the bunch as it rotates on through. Eventually, it's going to get close to land. We're just not quite sure. Does it move onshore upper Charleston County or Georgetown County? We're watching those trends. We'll certainly keep you updated. But as far as rain is concerned, it extends all the way back almost to 95, but basically the rain machine kind of ends right there. So if you're watching us tonight, let's say from Walterboro this afternoon, you can see we've got rain kind of on your doorstep, and this will start to work its way back inland. But we're going to see some really high rainfall totals closer to the coast and not much rain when it gets away from the coast the way it looks right now. So this area moving through Bulls Bay, that's where it's very, very heavy with the gusty winds, and our forecast model as we go through the rest of the afternoon showing those bands rotating, especially the northern part of our area. Then it rotates all the way into Berkeley County, Williamsburg County, Georgetown County. This is 7 o'clock tonight, and at that time the center would be generally just to the east and southeast of Charleston. By the time we get to 8 o'clock, it looks like the center of the storm probably will pass about 25 miles away from Charleston and move up to the north. Then the best news I can give you in terms of what's happening immediately in Charleston, not so much in Georgetown and Horry counties, is by the time we get to that high tide, I think the winds will be more coming around the storm from the north and west. That will help to push some of that water out that we were anticipating because of that higher than normal tide here at 8:59. This is 10 o'clock tonight. The center of the storm works its way all the way maybe into Little River Inlet and then into North Carolina. And then by that time, it's all gone for us as we get into the morning. What's interesting up in Murrells Inlet, we have a live camera there, and if you watch us from time to time, we show you this. This is called Goat Island, and there are actually physically goats on this island. Well, they came in this morning and they took the goats off. So no goats over here on Goat Island, obviously because of the potential for the high winds and the heavy rain. And this swath is moving right into North Carolina and points to the north. So Isaias is not going to be done once it reaches South Carolina and North Carolina. It's going to continue moving to the north. So we'll break it down for you. Generally 1 to 2 inches as we get closer to 95. There could be a swath of 2 to 4 inches in the yellow. That would be central Charleston County into Berkeley County, Williamsburg, and we still feel the highest rainfall totals will be in the upper portions of Charleston County, Georgetown, and into Horry County as well. The probability that we're going to see tropical storm force winds are highest right along the coast. That's no surprise. That's closer to the center. Generally 90% that you're going to see at least a gust over on Folly Beach. You're getting close there now, and 81% in Georgetown, 98% up at Murrells Inlet, and you see it tapers off, a much lower probability as we go farther away from the coast. Wouldn't be surprised to see gusts in tropical storm force range from 39, roughly 40, 45 miles an hour back away from the coast. Well,